Dapper Don Podcast. Dapper Don Podcast. This is your boy Dapper Don Diz.
Welcome to the Dapper Don Podcast. It's your boy Dapper Don Diz. And man, today we're going to talk about everything we've seen in the hip hop culture. We got to talk about 6ix9ine. I know you don't want to hear it, but we actually got to talk about what makes somebody creative. Is that creativity in trolling? Can you get predictably in trolling? I want to talk about, some people when it comes to trolling. Man, it's just so much that I seen just within the culture that we gotta really just break down. But first and foremost, if you see anything that you like, or just in general, if you really are into this kind of podcast, into this, I know we've been on a hiatus. I've been on hiatus for about a month. I got good reasons why. But, I'm back at it. So, man, smash that like button. Let me know this is the kind of content that you out here looking for, that you really just kind of connecting to. So I want to talk about Coming to America. First and foremost, I want to talk about Coming to America too. Now, I did not see it, so it'll be tough for me to kind of spoil it. But I did want to at least talk about one aspect of it, is how Rick Ross's $5.8 million Coming to America mansion is paying for itself. So according to this, Ross is earning millions from his Georgia mansion. As a matter of fact, Drake just dropped a 3-pack, Scary Hours 2. And in it, he had a song called Lemon Pepper. And you know how much Ross loves his lemon pepper wings. So he had a song, Lemon Pepper, featuring Rick Ross. And one thing about Drizzy and Ross, they don't miss. If those two is on the record together, it does not miss. And he was like, and Drake was like, Ross is sitting on 250 acres. That's real, or something along those lines. And it was just seeing how Ross has become so much more bigger on self-ownership, on real estate, because it's the same person who put his face on the chain. It's the same person who put his face on the chain. This is the same person with a Lemonhead chain. And to see how much he's just grown to songs like Buy Back the Block or Refinance. He didn't call it the remix. He called it the refinance. He's just really explaining wealth. Nipsey even said that. He said, they killed Dr. Sebi. He was teaching health. I mess with Rick Ross because he's teaching wealth. And, if you ever watch, there's other great podcasts, like Earn Your Leisure podcast. They really talk about how you can make more money. I actually fell asleep listening to some of that stuff. Not fell asleep like it's boring. I was up listening to it that long. And it must have sunk into my subconscious. It's a lot about being financial literacy. And when you look at Ross and how he's utilizing his mansion and how he's making it just a part of his brand, right? Because you look at when 50 bought Tyson's mansion, it was a part of his brand in the beginning. He used his music videos, but Ross just kind of really embodies this house and makes it, he literally made it his own. But I believe just what it has done for branding him and what it has done for creating him as just a mogul. And what a beautiful thing to have, on top of adding more land onto it. And then just for Boosie to follow behind and do the same thing. So I wanted to run down this article. It says, record executive Rick Ross is earning millions of dollars from their Georgia mansion after buying the foreclosed property for approximately $5.8 million in 2014 for 6 years. I'm talking about 6 years. For 7 years, he done had this property. And they say it's expensive to keep it up. So he's clearly doesn't even he's trying to sell it. So that lets you know his pocket's deep. Look, back in 2014, he's been able to profit from the movie production, inquiry visits, and activities. During the Instagram live video, the rapper shared that the home was paying for itself. They quote him saying, "What you see outside my door is a gathering of film production and directors who possibly want to rent the estate for another film," Rick Ross shared on Instagram earlier this year. As you all know, we had a Coming to America 2 that will be hitting the world in, I believe, March, which was filmed in this same estate. It's not free to come check out the estate. 20 people are waiting to see it today, every day. What we do is charge people to come look at it, and there's still 18 people that want to come a day. So welcome to the promised land. So here's what's interesting part, and I want to make sure, before we get into the ratchet stuff, I want you to at least hear this stuff and why I say I believe the way that we as black people are changing the way we see money is the same way in the 60s we changed the way we should see legislation. We might have thought legislation was like, yeah, they say that it should be equality for all. They say it should be this, but we never really pushed for it to include us. We just said, well, that's the law, but it's more how Thurgood Marshall father told him, it's the way things should be, not the way things are. This is kind of along the same lines of, this is the way things. This money is available to everybody. It's just not meant for us. And I see we're changing that. We're changing financial literacy. I was just talking to my homeboy Calvin. Shout out to Calvin. He always watched my show. And we was talking on the phone for hours, at least an hour, about just how we capitalizing in every portion, right? Like I do this podcast and I see me capitalizing on this, but there's a lot of other stuff that I can capitalize too. There's a lot of other talents that I do have that, I got to make sure I'm milking to the fullest. Like getting my credit together. My mom asked me like a month ago, not even a month, like 2-3 months ago. She was like, print out your credit report and I'm gonna help you get your credit together. I'm gonna help you get your credit together. Now I got a Monte Carlo on 22s. I feel like I'm doing it, but I'd be lying if I told you I couldn't financially afford a better car than what I have. I can easily get a Challenger. I can easily get a Charger, but I know my credit is gonna hit. And I keep year after year after year for the last 5-6 years, I've been saying I'm gonna get my credit together. I'm gonna get my credit together. And this kind of stuff is what's inspiring me to do that. Is I really got to get on it. They say get out of debt before you do anything financially. Get out of debt first. But here's how Rick Ross is transforming a mansion into $1 million bids. Rick Ross opened the doors of his mansion, of his 54 square foot Georgia mansion, to the cast of Coming to America 2, the sequel. His 235-acre estate is considered to be the largest residence in the state of Georgia. Now, it becomes an attractive location for film producers and directors who want to pay for space. Rick Ross shares his negotiation strategies during an interview with 3-time Pro Bowler Shannon Sharpe. Oh yeah, Club Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay is hilarious if you don't watch it. Shannon Sharpe is a trip, man. I really like him. And Ross say, when I go and sit down in meetings, the first thing I let them know is what excites me. And 9 times out of 10, it's a dollar figure. We may be able to work something out, but I got to be clear and make it clear. This is what excites Rose. And as soon as I see that number, I get like, bow, go off, and the confetti falls because you don't want me excited. Ross knows how to sell. So, he always knew how to sell a thing, right? He always knew how to make it sound so luxurious. And it's funny how that luxurious living is inspiring other people. Like what he's making off Wingstop, what he's making off Bel Air. I don't know how big Bel Air is everywhere, but like I said, I'm in Duval County. And the biggest and most powerful thing about it is the fact that out here, when you go to the liquor stores, Bel Air got its own floor mat. They got, stuff in the window. Like you would think this was a premier champagne. It is. You would think it's a premier champagne. And Ross, like he said, like Drake said on Lemon Pepper Freestyle, he's sitting on 235 acres, man. That's letting you know to see where his mentality is at. And that also drives me to remember, see, I'm glad I didn't forget. That also drives me to remember to look at Jay-Z, because it feels like Ross kind of is taking that steam from Jay, right? Because we've seen Jay win so much. Now we kind of see Ross go on winning streaks, right? When we see him get into the healthcare thing, the healthcare, I can't remember the name of it right now. It escapes me, but it's jet.com something. But it's through another millionaire in Miami, and it's supposed to be, a future technological way of doing healthcare approach. Like I think like virtual checkups. You know how like they got Talkspace, they got like the virtual doctor thing now. Like this is gonna be crucial. This is gonna be big for people who just don't like going to the doctor's office. It's gonna be a big deal, man. And he's ahead of that. But Jay-Z done caught 2 plays, man. Jay-Z done caught 2 plays. He done picked up 2 checks. The brother done sold half of Ace of Spades and majority share in title. He done, I didn't know. Here's the thing. He sold majority share for $297,000. I forget, and I believe that Sprint went and Sprint bought a large majority stock too for like 300 something million. So I don't know how much of title he still owns. And the dude Jack Dorsey, I believe he owns Twitter. It's something called Square something. But anyway, the dude Jack Dorsey ended up buying it, and he paid almost a little under $300 million. He should have held out for $3 million. Don't let nobody give you $297. He should have held out for $3 million. Like, no, give me $3 million. $300 million, I mean. Give me $300 million. And he talked about that. He talked about getting $300 million from Live Nation. Like, when it comes to Jay, it's just, he shows what you get when you build it yourself. You build it yourself, show it works, then you sell it. Like, I know this ain't a new business plan, but they make it feel like it's new, and it makes you feel like, man, yeah, I'm gonna build this thing up, and I'm gonna be able to sell it. I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna be able to do that. It really motivates you. It really pushes you to want to just do more and have more for yourself, right? It's really kind of the end goal of it all. So yeah, he sold Ace of Spades to Moet, which is funny because he kind of dissed Moet for the longest, but now he sold that at the Moet. I believe. See, Jay started his own champagne company. Bel Air is through some other people, and it's through the same people who have Bamboo Rum. So that's Ross's and I guess Wayne's. Oh well, Wayne's and Ross kind of, I guess, put his touch on it, but it's definitely worked for him. You got academics who kind of, and on the other end of that, you got academics coming out saying stuff like, oh, Jay-Z uses black owned as a bait and switch tactic. Like, oh, now it's black owned, but that's not the case. If it's black built and he owns it and it showed it becomes popular, and after he shows it becomes popular, he maximizes the profit. That's just called having an exit strategy. That's not using it as a bait and switch. That's just an exit strategy. Like when someone comes to offer him money for his platform, he'll sell it. Like when Comcast came to offer for his thing. So this looks dope. This looks dope. Let me run this one to you. Griselda rapper Westside Guns opened Walden Gallery store. This was a dream of mine, and I'm trying to lead by example to show every Buffalo kid with hard work anything is possible. Buffalo Kids, a store that at the creation of Griselda rapper and Buffalo native Westside Guns had held its grand opening Saturday at the Walden Galleria. The lifestyle and clothing apparel brand now has a 1,300 square foot on the lower levels of the Galleria, where a group of shoppers pass through to browse the merchandise. He says, "I'm excited to bring my vision to the city of Buffalo. This was a dream of mine, and I'm trying to lead by example to show every Buffalo kid with hard work and possibility anything is possible," Westside Gun said in the statement. Buffalo Kids and West apparel and footwear available in the store. Westside Gun also has a clothing line reflecting his love for pro wrestling called Fourth Rope. That is a showcase alongside of some of Griselda's merchandise by Fashion Rebel. In fact, some local billboards and promotional signatures in advance of the opening features Western New York native, the Butcher and the Blade, as well as the Bunny, who are all elite wrestlers. Oh, so they actually went and got. Okay, so I can explain what I just read to you. I can definitely explain what I just read to you. Westside Gun is a member of a Buffalo rap group called Griselda. Griselda was actually started off supposed to be Fashion Rebel by Griselda, or Griselda by Fashion Rebel, is the clothing line, and it became a record label. Now it's more known as a record label, but Westside Gunn is just a real visionary, man. He a real like fly dude. Whether that becomes in the design of his clothes, his albums, he really just has a vision for how everything should look for him. And this is just another extension of him, man. Another thing that he has, Buffalo Kids. He's coming out with footwear. And if I can't see anything, if I can't say nothing else about this generation of kids, I would say they would wear some of the ugliest shoes in the world. It don't matter how ugly the shoes is. Like, what's considered fashionably now, like the shoes look like big, like soap boxes. You know, they look like sponges. It look like if their shoes got wet, they'll just inflate. But that's not saying his shoes. I'm just saying like shoes is popular these days. The Balenciagas, the Yeezys, the whatevers. It's crazy. It's crazy. But hey, it says Balenciaga on the side, so I guess it's fly. You can put anything on the side as long as it's expensive. The store will have specific rules to help with social distancing, such as time limit for groups in the store. Cash won't be accepted and a mask will be required. The rapper hopes to host future meet and greets with celebrities in the store. The store also says customers are allowed to take pictures in the store. More than 100 people lined in for a chance to enter Buffalo Kids when the store opened on Saturday morning. The store is on the lower level of the mall near Starbucks. You know, so that's definitely some more of the innovative. That's some more of him taking his passions from rapping to wrestling to everything that he likes, and man, just really making it a vision. He's been saying he's gonna retire. I think if he keeps it up like this, he's gonna have to. I don't see him being able to really, hold on to. I don't see him being able to hold on to being Griselda, the kingpin rapper, and also running a business, and also doing like 1,000 different other things. I see he would have to kind of let one or two things be his primary objective, honestly. If I'm just being 100, but so. So we also got to get into, in this next bit, we got to also talk about how we've seen the freedom of Kodak Black and what all we've seen him do. Because I got a lot of ground to cover, and I know this is super old, but I want to also talk about this when it comes to people who just have gotten out recently. And this new group of young artists who seem to be just going in and out, I don't want to just say going in and out like they don't have any kind of connections or any kind of care in the world when it comes to their freedom, because I'm sure they do, but they have such a knee-jerk reaction and not think before they actually do something. And now Kodak is free, and the crazy thing about it is he's skinny as ever. I seen him doing some stuff with Lil Yachty. He seemed to be in more positive space, man. He seemed to be more just more outgoing, have just a better energy about himself, a better connection, a better, just an all around better vibe. And as much as that's definitely dope, I do think he's not like he's out the woods just yet. I know he has a lot of stuff pending. There's a lot of investigations on him, and I'm not quite sure on what all his what all Trump partner, what all Trump commuted his sentence. I don't really know what all the legal jargon is for that, but he shot for the moon and said he shot for the stars and said, "Yo, Trump, set me free," and Trump actually did it. He actually did it. So yeah, he's free. He's out here. He's looking healthy. He's looking better. He's sounding more positive. Like I said, his music's never really been for me, but he does seem to be on a better track. But as far as other artists, such as I gotta talk about 6ix9ine, and I gotta talk about Meek Mills. Now, as far as it comes to artists finding the strangest ways to get out, I would have to say Kodak, Meek Mills, and Tekashi 6ix9ine are the definition of finding a way to get out of prison. None of the three of them ever did a whole prison sentence yet. Meek had I don't know how Meek got out. Meek pulled a whole political move. He pulled some House of Cards on him. Kodak got a pardon from the president. And Tekashi, well, he snitched out. That's not too crazy, but it is a crazy thing when you start thinking about how these dudes aren't even like, you know, it's not like they got a lawyer. It's not like they went and got like a lawyer and beat a trial or something like the normal way. It goes to show you a prison sentence is just a suggestion. Depending on how much influence and culture cachet you have, cultural currency you have, prison sentence is just a suggestion. It's not like it's something you got to do all the way. You know, and that's just how it goes when it's them. Well, first, let me talk on Meek Mills. So, we seen a few weeks ago, Meek Mills got ran up on by 6ix9ine. A lot of people, you know, decided that they wanted it to be a mockery or an opportunity to like just poke fun at the other person and say, ha, look at me, you know, getting punked by 6ix9ine. And the fact of the matter is, one, regardless if he had security or not, if dude's running up and he has his camera and he wants you to react, he got exactly what he wanted, which was really just dog talking in the media, in the media saying stuff, because he knows that the media is lazy. The media doesn't really go out here and do any work. So he says if you give them an alley-oop, they'll take it. They'll take it, even though they know people don't want to go in and really make compelling content. Why not just take this content of him being a fool and keep doing it? The problem is it starts to lose its touch, right? You kind of got to keep being creative. You got to rebrand. You've done the rainbow head thing long enough. There used to at least be some kind of creativity and imagery behind. Like when he did the rainbow, he had like the rainbow colored car, he wore rainbow colored clothes. You know, when they was all gangbang, when he had the gangbangers, they'd all be wearing like these bright, vibrant colors. It had like this bright, vibrant feel. It's like now you just kind of going off of what you've already done and keep doing it again. And it don't really work like that. I think he got to switch it up completely. He got to find a whole nother way to get people, you know, roped in the way he got going on. Because you went and got Nicki and you thought that would work, and that didn't do nothing for you. And if Nick can't give you a hit record, I don't know what can. If you can't get one from Nick. But he ran up on Meek, and you know, and Meek reacted like you know he can, bro. You know you can push a button and Meek does this. That's the thing about Meek. You press this button on him and he does this. He does this kind of behavior. It doesn't matter what it is. He's gonna meet it with aggression. He's gonna meet it with whatever. You can always get a reaction out of him. That's why people like to, you know, really kind of like poke fun at him. Because honestly, he's kind of everybody that is honestly, this may seem like a reach to you. Now that I'm thinking about it and I'm really going through my mind, when you look at Drake, right, like there's the toughest dudes in the world and they clown Drake for being soft. It's almost like all of those people that watch Drake get clowned for being soft and like, hey, Drake's a good guy. Don't do that. He don't have to act this way. He doesn't have to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's like those people have finally found their Drake. Their Drake is clearly Meek Mills. It's like, you know what? You too aggressive. You overreact to stuff. You don't know how to. And like when we was growing up, this made you cool. If he been a early 2000s or 90s rapper, he'll be the coolest thing in the world. This is what you do. You overreact. Somebody pull up. You get aggressive because we act like Meek didn't get aggressive. We act like he didn't, you know, walk up on him. He just had his security. Like that clearly let us know 6ix9ine got more sense than Meek, because Meek was going to just walk up on him. Dog was screaming, I got the blicky, I got all of this, all this little random stuff. You walk right up on him. You didn't stop to think what could happen if he would. How you know this man ain't gonna kill you? How you know this man ain't gonna shoot you? You don't know what he'll do. But you Meek Mills, huh? Young bull come rushing in. That's just how you do. And when you can always get a reaction out of somebody, you're gonna always do it. You're gonna always do it. You know, you letting people control you. And I think he knows that, and he just feels like, hey, it is what it is. I'm not finna let you play with me. To each his own. You know, truly to each his own. I personally, I wouldn't take that approach to how if I was famous. But here's where that's starting to bite Mink. He just got it. He had a line that leaked from a song that he didn't put out, but it leaked from a song that he had where he says, if I get caught lacking, I'm going down with my chopper, it'll be another Kobe. And his response to it is what I think made it front page news. Because he had the line, he said, they create a narrative and y'all just go with it, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Y'all attacking me every so often. It's just cool to attack me. Now, this is the truth. This is, like I said, just like it was with Drake, there's people who attack him for whatever. He do some street stuff and they laugh at him for it. All of this stuff used to be street. All this stuff used to be cool. Now what's cool is corny. The corny is cool now. And Mink decided that instead of dealing with it with maturity and saying, hey, I think y'all misunderstanding my line. I would never insult Kobe. I'm just saying as another Philadelphia native, as a fellow Philadelphia native, I'm just saying that if I go down, we'll lose another great. If I get caught slipping, it's that dangerous out here for us. You see what happened to Vaughn. You see what happened to Scooter. You see what happened to Lil Snoop. You see what happened to Pop Smoke. You see what happened to Chinks Drugs. You see what happened to all of these great artists, man. And they were in their own neighborhood. You see what happened to Soulja Slim. You see what happened to, everybody. Now, clearly that's not the problem. The problem is you using the metaphor of a chopper and Kobe. I get the play on words that Kobe went down in a helicopter. You got a chopper. It ain't even really that fire of a bar for real, dog. I've seen you do a lot better. I think, isn't that what his wife told her? Like, I think I seen you do a lot better. You can do better than this. So she clapped back with what did she say? She said something like, I'm not even familiar with your music, but you can do better than this. And earlier that day, he had already had a rant, or at least around the same time that she said that. That she said that she didn't like it. It was a disgrace to her husband and her daughter. And that's another thing people forget. The daughter and the father died, plus the other people who died. So I get it's a sensitive situation. I don't know if it's a matter of he shouldn't have said it or if it's too soon. See, that's the thing. Because are we saying it shouldn't ever be said, or are we saying it's just too soon? Because if it's just too soon, even though it's been a year, fair enough. I can understand that. Like, I think even the NBA want to do a tribute, and Vanessa Bryant said that it might be just a little too much for her. Here's my thing. Here's my thing. One, I fully get, it's the wife. She's the wife and the mother. You lost your child and your husband. Jeez. And then you got to still raise the other ones by yourself. That's tough, bro. That's tough. You have to have some compassion for that. But you know what? All she can do is voice and say, hey, I don't like you talking about this. I don't like you talking about that. When you look at Nip, like, people just kind of throw out the memorials of Nip, and we take it as it is what it is. Because his family and his family and his friends lost people too, and the video went viral of him being murdered. But they just kind of took it as, well, now people gonna have songs with Nip coming out. Ross had a record with Nipsey. Big Sean had a record with Nipsey. Like, it feels like you can kind of memorialize Nip, while with Kobe, it seems like you can't on a large scale at least give him the same memorial, because it may be just too soon for his family. I want to ask you this question, and I want to make sure that I'm clear. One, Mink was wrong. Let me cap that one off. Mink, you was wrong. You was right for just apologizing. You ain't got to apologize to everybody in the world, because the line didn't affect everybody in the world. It affected the family. Hopefully you even reached out to the family of the other victims too and said, That ain't the type of person I am. That's not the type of line that was meant to be. I was paying a homage to his untimely death, and that so many rappers have died within the last year, especially, that if I get caught out of pocket, then I'll be another martyr. So to speak, in this culture. So sure, but either way, you was wrong. If she says it's wrong, take it down. Which he didn't put it out, to his credit. I know I'm the biggest Meek Mill stan in the world, but he didn't put it out, to his credit. He didn't put it out. Same way Dr. Dre didn't put out the song dissing his wife. It was leaked. Now, that might have been him leaking the song, but this was just one or two. This was a snippet. So that's why I know it might have been somebody looking to tear him down, because this was a snippet. This was 2 bars. He wouldn't have gave such a small snippet. He wouldn't have took his art and just took that piece out. So he clearly has somebody that was trying to really get under his skin. I don't know how it leaked. I don't know if it was the Instagram quote. Instagram, he the king of snippets. He the king. He kind of really got the snippet game popping. But yeah, he apologized. But more deeper than that. Not saying the line, but the NBA doing a memorial. I believe she even said she didn't she didn't want to see the NBA memorial or people, painting pictures of Kobe and his daughter, murals. But I don't know how to say this without sounding like a jerk. He was your husband, facts. We lost Kobe too, though. He was somebody we cared about too. He was somebody that we grew up watching, that we grew up looking up to, that, he was our Michael Jordan. Before there was LeBron, it was Kobe. He was arrogant. He was kind of a little less photo friendly, but he was confident because he knew how much work he put in. He was the definition of putting in that work and talk your ish. He was the basketball Floyd Mayweather. And, and throughout all the trials he went through, throughout all the difficulty he went through, throughout all the hardships, the brother still always made sure he gave it 110% every time. Every time, 110%. I said nowadays, drop 81% drop 81 points on whatever you do. You washing dishes, drop 81. Do it to the best of your ability. You raising your kids, drop 81s. Go over and beyond. That means go over and beyond. Do more than you could possibly do. Do you know how tough it is to drop 81 points on Jalen Rose at that? Like, this wasn't no regular nobody. So the brother put in so much work, and who's to say what's a proper memorial? Now, the daughter, fair enough. But as far as a ball player goes, and in the Lakers, like sports is a cult for people, man. Sports is a thing that folks turn to when nothing else is going right. People enjoy sports, and you start making these people like father figures. You start making these people like brothers to you. They start becoming, folks that you admire, folks that you kind of really connect to. And what makes it appropriate? When she said she didn't really want the memorial, is it just tough for her? Because it's cool if she don't want to come to the memorial. I get it's still soon, it's still early, but he still should be memorialized. They still should name the MVP after him. They still should I don't know about the NBA logo. I don't think the NBA logo should be Kobe. But they for sure got to name at least the All-Star Championship. The All-Star trophy has to be the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba MVP. That has to be that. That is what it is. The Black Mamba was legend. We got Bill Russell has one. He has to get one. His name goes in the jersey. This is a part of being great, man. This is a part of being great. He should have got it while he was alive. That's the crazy thing. See, this would be different if I was just saying this like on some back end stuff, like, down the road years later. Oh, yeah, let's give it to him. He should have got it while he was living. When he was living, he should have handed the first annual Kobe Bryant trophy should have been given by Kobe Bryant. Like, he deserved it when he was living, bro. He's a legend. He's a complete legend. Shout out to Jordan. Jordan doing this thing over there with Charlotte. Apparently, he says he likes what the LeVar Ball, what the ball kid is giving him. What is it, LaMelo? What's his name? Lamel? Something. I said Lamel. Yeah, but he says he's happy. I just was thinking Jordan. Jordan was on my mind. I'm gonna stay on track. But what do you think would be an appropriate memorial? Because you're gonna get, the artwork on the side of the building. You're gonna get the murals. But what would you call a good memorial? And what the documentaries? There's a lot of stuff we want to know about. I would love a Kobe documentary. And here's the problem with it, where so much time goes by before you get the information from the people closest to him, because we clearly see it's not going to be in a year or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years when a person feels comfortable expressing, when some people feel comfortable coming out with intimate details about their deceased loved one. Case in point, Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. Biggie. One, I didn't know Biggie Smalls was legally told to stop referring to himself as Biggie Smalls. I had no clue. There was already a guy named Biggie Smalls. And here's the thing. It was like this preppy white guy. Like, boy, if you don't give Biggie his name, man. But, and Biggie Smalls was also a character on, I believe, like Get Shorty, right? That was like a character in a movie. But he has a documentary called I Got a Story to Tell. And boy, did he have a story to tell. And when you watch the documentary in the first minute, because I watched the whole documentary, in the first minute, you hear Biggie singing. Did you know Biggie can hold a note? Biggie could hold a note. And I was like, now he was standing out by a limo, and they turned around, they was like, yeah, we the Cash Money clique. One. For those of you who don't know, before Cash Money was Cash Money, that was the name of a fictional drug organization ran by Wesley Snipes, playing Nino Brown, played by Wesley Snipes. So anyway, clearly they didn't mind naming themselves after movie characters. Frank White, he didn't mind naming himself after characters and stuff. But the fact that what made this documentary interesting over all the other documentaries was the fact that his mother, this one seemed like it was more his mother and his grandmother was involved in this one. And he talks about growing up in Jamaica. Well, him not growing up, but his mother grew up in Jamaica, moved to Brooklyn in 1969, and of course got pregnant with him in 1972. When I stop and think about it, you know how many legendary rappers was born in 1972? Mac from No Limit was born in 1972. I can name a couple of rappers that was born in 1972. 1972 was a crazy year. But she had him she was 19. She was 18, 19, and had him with a married man. And I remember, and I just was thinking, that's so ironic, because she was going in on Kim for being with our Biggie when he was married. Maybe, maybe she just seen the cycle repeating. But anyway, this documentary was also different because it had behind the scenes footage from one of Biggie's closest friends, D-Rock. So it showed it was more focusing on the come up of Biggie. It didn't really focus on all of the, so much know him as Notorious B.I.G. This really showed more of him getting into rapping, how he became influenced by jazz. I did know he was highly influenced by jazz. He was a big fan of jazz players, but I didn't know like the intricate players he would listen to, how there was a jazz player in his building, and how like his entire street that he was from, like Fulton Street was the hood, right? But the street that he stayed on was actually a really nice area. He wasn't really from Bed-Stuy. His mom lived in a good apartment. He went to Catholic school. Like he had all of the advantages that was necessary for a young kid. He had a lot of tutelage. I mean, don't get it wrong. His dad wasn't in his life, but his dad wasn't no bum either. He was like a good guy. I could see how his mom felt like she was doing it. Because, if the dad, he's well-spoken, he's well-dressed, he's intelligent, he's smart, you're going to school for nursing. She thought she was finna, knock it out the park. And she really did. She thought she was about to knock it out the park with Biggie. Like, bro, you gonna grow up so spoiled, so, so in the lap of luxury. I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna give you everything I never had. And ultimately, although she did do that as far as providing him a place to stay, providing him a good life, he was still in Brooklyn, He was still in a very rough place. And like I said, he went to private school. He showed that in the movie. They showed he went to private school. They showed he got into it with, his relationship with his father. It was so much, man. It was so much to take in. And him having his uncle, and his uncle showing him like music in Jamaica, and like him being such a fan of every other kind of music but hip hop. I think this is so crazy. Like, all the best rappers that I know aren't even really like fans of hip hop music like that. All the greats was that way. If you listen to like Kevin Gates, I was listening to Kevin Gates talk, and he was talking about how when he listens to like emotion-based music. And when I'm hearing him say this down, listening to his music, he's talking about listening to like Red Chili Peppers and all these other people he was naming that I didn't know. I was like, I can see that in Gates. Gates is more musical, not just melodic, but just also the things he talks about, but he mixes in the streets with it, which I think kind of hinders him, because it's like, okay, if you're going to connect with us emotionally, you connecting, I'm getting the emotion you're telling me. I just may not get the scenario you teaching me that you kind of put me onto. So if you want to really stop and take the time to learn, Gates is a perfect example of how you can tell a captivating story. It's just, it may be a convoluted story because there's stuff about the streets he's talking about, like renegade hoes setting up the trick. You may not know what that means. You might not know what that means. But with Biggie was also a big fan of like Western country music. I would have never figured he was a fan of country music, but it makes sense because in the movies, his mom talked about being a fan of like country music. And if you look in Jamaica, a lot of Jamaican music is a lot of acoustics. It's a lot of acoustics in that sound. And he grew up next to a jazz player. So all of that stuff affected, man. All of that stuff affects how you look at yourself, how you work. It's just, it all comes together. And when you listen to his notes, he is a lot more melodic. He is a lot more. That's why I think he was such a good one take, because he had intricate lyrics, but he also kind of had an interesting flow. As a matter of fact, I was watching the video, man. I was watching him battle a dude named Supreme. So this cat named Supreme was a short black guy. And Mr. C's was describing him. And I was like, please get anybody but Mr. C. Mr. C, if you don't know, got caught up in some controversy for dealing with some transsexual prostitutes. Not once, but like a few times. Like, he keeps getting caught up in this. And he keeps getting caught up in the mess and all of this drama with our transgenders. Then he goes on to describe it. He says, when you look at Preem was like this short, small, bald black guy with a like weaselly voice, and you see Biggie, he was towering over him. He was bigger. He had stronger vocals. I'm like, boy, C's relax. C, relax. Mr. C, relax. The finisher, calm down. So we don't need it. We did not ask for that. Nobody's asking for your description of the battle. We have the video. D-Rock is sharing the video with us right now. We don't need your description. Sorry, relax. But in one of the videos, they show him battling this dude named Supreme. Now, every once in a while, you got to be careful who you battle, because you might become like there's a dude named Juice or something. I forget his actual name, but he battled Eminem, and people consider that a legendary battle. And it's the same way with Biggie and another guy. It's not the Supreme guy, it's another dude. But the dude played, the dude that rapped against him was played by Red Cafe in the Notorious movie. But anyway, so Supreme is rapping. This is our unknown Brooklyn battle rapper is rapping Biggie. And, you know, he's dancing. He's doing like a bunch of goofy stuff. He's animated, but that's what hip hop used to be. Like, that's why they say hip hop was corny back in the day. Because, you know, it was a lot more, you know, it was a lot more showmanship to it. You had a lot more flair, a lot more, you know, fun and goofy and free. And Biggie was just chilling in the cut, looking like a shooter, looking like a gangster. Like 6'2", like Mr. C said, he was towering over the guy. He was at least a foot taller than him. And there's certain things, sometimes in your life, you ever had a feeling you was making a bad decision. This guy Preem felt that. This guy Preem felt that, oh my God, I'm about to make a bad decision. Because when he was battling and his verse was over, he was still dancing, right? He was trying to get his little dance off. Biggie was like, yo, hand me the mic. He didn't want to hand the mic over. He like, what I'm giving you the mic for? That was that thing in him saying, don't get his kid the mic. Don't get this guy the mic. Do not get this guy the microphone. Should have listened to your instinct. He handed Biggie the microphone, and I don't have to tell you, Biggie shredded him. This is top 2, and he's not number 2. Let me tell it. This is top 2, and he's not number 2. And Biggie just shreds this dude. Like, he goes in on him. And that just really that lets you know, like, he already had like the vibe. This was 50 grand was, yeah, this was 50 grand was like DJing it too. So it's just so crazy to watch a video of people who you kind of grew up seeing be bigger than life in their humble beginnings. So when you in your humble beginnings, it's really like reflective, and it's really it's transformative, honestly. If I can use any word, if I got to use a word to describe it, it's transformative. But, you know, as all things come together, they must change and evolve. So, like I said, whether you're Jay-Z selling your champagne or your family, you know, finally being able to share all the intricate, intimate details about your loved ones, we must remember, let's put the culture first, be our best, be excellent. It's your boy Dapper Don. I'm out.